It'll take me a minute to get everything going, but let's see what we can do. Why is that kind of hazy like that? Bear with me. Why is the camera kind of, oh. See if we can make sure the camera is clean. Maybe it's just not the best focus. All right, let me go ahead and get the other set up and we'll begin the live momentarily. I don't know why that seems to be foggy. All right. Just sitting here watching Fox News, but it's time to go live. So we'll be live in about a minute or two for you folks that are watching on YouTube horizontal. So give me a minute here. We're going to be talking about playing the blame game, and I want you to playing the blame game. You'll figure out what I'm talking about. We've had, obviously, an assassination attempt in Minnesota. They caught the culprit, but everybody's blaming MAGA for what he did. I want to talk to you folks about playing the blame game. And, of course, there's going to be other topics we're going to discuss as well, but we'll be up momentarily here. Get the last hashtags in here. And even though we got Elon Musk is still one of the hashtags from every program, but he's kind of out of the news now. But he's still in there because he's going to be considered a permanent fixture on Trump's second term. So Elon Musk is relevant, and not to mention so many folks have been fired, and Doge has done so many things that when you judge the Trump second administration, you got to put Elon Musk in there. So he is part of the hashtags and things like that for every program I do. So let's see, I think we're ready to go. So we'll go live momentarily here, assuming I get everything right here. All right, so we'll be going live in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. Make sure I got all my devices on Wi-Fi and not something else, because we don't want to lose communication during the program. Okay, so everything's on Wi-Fi. All right, we got a few topics to discuss today. As usual, you know how the program is ran. There's a few things in the news. And under the Trump administration, there's always things in the news. Now, we're going to talk about, first of all, the military parade that was this weekend. Flat out, I guess the main question I would ask you folks in regards to the military parade that Trump had, do you think it was worth it? What do you think? 40 some odd million bucks to host this parade? Do you think the trying to sound like Trump, the beautiful parade, do you think it was actually worth the cost? Because it wasn't cheap. It does appear as if no streets were damaged during this parade. So, because that was one of the big concerns, is the tanks and all of this equipment was going to tear up the streets in D.C. It appears as if that did not happen, so that's a good thing. But do you think the parade was worth it in regards to the cost and what the meaning of it was? In the comments, Hunter CCM says it's not worth celebrating 250 years of the Army. If I'm correct, that's next year. I would say look it up, but if I'm correct, the actual turning of that is next year, because many were suggesting that the parade should be next year. So I think the 250 thing is next year. Because think about it, 1976, so that means 250 years, that last digit should be a 6, not 2025. So if you want to talk about 250 years of the military, it should be 2026. That's 250 years. So you're not even getting that, Hunter. It's the 249th year of the military. So that's not even the case of what happened. Some might suggest that it's due to the fact that this time next year we'll be really talking about the midterms, and holding this same parade next year might have not have been it might have not been as advantageous to Trump to hold it next year. But this time next year, we'll be done forgot all about this parade. But if he held it in June of 2026, only a few months before the election, it might be big on people's mind. Because this time next year, we're talking only 5 months before the midterm. So somebody said MAGA can't do math. Jojo, tell him something, Joe. Good afternoon to you, by the way. Okay, so that was funny. So we're talking about, do you believe Trump's parade was worth it? Do you believe it was worth it? Before we go into the second and third topic, which we do have, I'll respond in kind to that statement once again in regards to, is it worth it to have a 250th anniversary or whatever of the military? I can see the validity in that. I guess the problem is when you're cutting so much via Elon Musk, why are you celebrating the military? I mean, I'm just going to say that while I am a big, I'm a big supporter of the U.S. military. If you're telling us we're going so broke, we got to cut American jobs in the federal government and any help we're doing for anybody overseas, that we're talking life-saving measures. Cutting USAID has caused the deaths of people. If you're going to say that we're hurting so bad, we need to do that. This ain't the time to celebrate the military. That's just my humble opinion. I'm 100% behind celebrating the military, but putting the celebration of the military over actual human lives, that just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I understand it sits well with a lot of you folks, particularly my beloved MAGA. You're okay with it, but cutting USAID has cost people their lives. I mean, we were providing a lot of medical treatments and prescription drugs and things like that to people overseas that were keeping them alive. We're helping children out that are going through everything from cleft lip to actual dangerous illnesses. We cut all of that out, but it's okay to just have some tanks go down the street and watch it. I mean, you realize how far $40-some-odd million goes in some of those third world countries that we were helping out? You realize how much we could do, how many lives can be saved with that? So the parade doesn't sit well with me from that standpoint. But we'll talk about that and asking, is it worth it in your opinion? Maybe you see something that I do not. Also, we're talking about the blame game. That's what the whole live is titled, the blame game. Now, all of you folks are aware that we had an assassin traveling the streets of Minneapolis, taking the lives of politicians. Now, apparently, even though 2 people were shot a lot. I mean, obviously, Melissa Hortman, the representative who lost her life, and so did her husband. The 2 people that lived, the senator he shot that actually lived, the male senator and his wife, between those 2, they got hit 17 times. I believe the husband was hit 9 times and the wife was hit 8, or vice versa. One got hit 8, one got hit 9 times. And they both survived that. In the tradition of Tupac and 50 Cent getting shot a bunch of times and surviving, but wow, he really was trying to take their lives. But they actually survived after being shot that many damn times. I don't know where he was hitting them at. Was he just shooting them all in the leg? Damn, that's a lot of times they get hit. But here's something that is more shocking that came out of what took place.
Of June 14th, Belter went to the homes of 4 Minnesota state politicians with the intent to kill them. Belter first traveled to the home of Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman in Champlin, Minnesota. After shooting Senator Hoffman and his wife, Belter traveled to the home of another Minnesota state representative in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Video surveillance showed that Belter rang the doorbell at the state representative's house at approximately 2:24 a.m. Now, fortunately, the state representative was not home. She and her family were gone on vacation, and so Belter left. Belter then traveled to the home of a Minnesota state senator who lived in New Hope, Minnesota. After learning of the shooting of Senator Hoffman, New Hope police dispatched an officer to conduct a wellness check on the state senator who lived in New Hope. The New Hope police officer believed that Belter was a police officer who had been dispatched to the scene to check on the status of the state senator. The New Hope police officer pulled up next to Belter in his car, rolled down her window, and attempted to speak with him. Belter did not respond. According to the officer, he just sat there and stared straight ahead. So the New Hope police officer, who had been dispatched to the scene, proceeded to the state senator's home, and she waited for other law enforcement to arrive.
Did she report that? Okay, you pulled up doing a wellness check while you are aware that another politician in the area has been assassinated. You pull up to the home, there's another cop sitting there with the lights on, and you try to make contact to that cop. You roll your window down, that cop doesn't say a damn thing to you and continue staring forward. How odd is that? So you just drive to the person's home and leave that damn cop there? Talk about some odd shit. How odd is that? So I don't know what to say about that one, but just some weird shit there. Looking in the comments here, let me make sure I clear somebody out that is playing the game of typing over and over again. But the issue we're talking about here is it's pretty clear that this individual wanted to take a lot of lives that day. And even though he only shot 4 people, which I guess you don't really want to say only to that, but it appears that he was trying to, I mean, he went to the home of a couple other politicians. You heard the man just say, unfortunately, one of them was on vacation, wasn't there. Can you imagine being that person to check your Ring doorbell or whatever you got your hands on your own surveillance and you notice he also came to my house? This is literally like Jason or Freddy Krueger showing up to your house, wearing that mask and all of that. He was obviously there to kill you. You just happened to be lucky he was you were on vacation. This guy obviously came to take the life. Now, what I'm going to ask when we titled this the blame game, I want to ask you folks, because the liberals rush to refer to this guy as MAGA. The liberals rush to say that it's Trump's rhetoric that has caused this type of political violence. Is it wrong to start blaming other folks that are part of a party as opposed to putting evil at the foot of the person that committed the evil? I mean, is it wrong to play the blame game and blame a whole party when this guy himself is the one that's going around doing all the killing? Now, before you answer that question, I see some have already chosen to do that. Keep in mind, President Trump himself sustained 2 attempts on his life, and he immediately blamed the liberals for it. He immediately did that. So which one is correct? Whereas you place evil at the foot of the person committing the evil, or is Trump correct and you blame the other side when something happens? Because Trump immediately blamed his assassin on the Liberal Party. So do want to ask that question. Last but not least, before we start taking callers and go into the box, President Trump did something today that is placing us at odds with a lot of our allies, so to speak. And I want to find out from you guys, why do you think he would do something like this?
Is in Canada, attending the G7 summit and meeting with world leaders. The escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, along with Russia's war with Ukraine, certainly expected to be top agenda items. Now, the president today advocating for Russia's return to the G7.
The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago.
Why does Trump want to add Russia back to the G8? Now, Russia's at war with the Ukrainians. I think all of NATO thinks Russia is wrong. Why would he want to add Russia back to the G8? So we're going to talk about that. That's what we're going to discuss today. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you. You are in the right place. Feel free to follow the program if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on TikTok, and certainly give your boy a subscription if you're watching on YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical. In the comments, why would Trump want to bring Russia back into the G7, make it the G8 again? In the comments, JoJo said because that's his daddy. Say that Putin's his daddy. Forever C10, thanks for the super chat. Tim, don't want to be petty. Check your Wi-Fi stream is bad. Okay, wait a minute. Let me make sure my Wi-Fi is on. I don't know why it's doing that. Are you guys having issues with Wi-Fi or on with my Wi-Fi? Is it coming in blocked up? It looks like everybody's hearing me. Okay, stream is fine on. Someone has said the stream is fine on TikTok. Let me know on YouTube. Let's talk about why they tried. It's very grainy. I don't know what's causing that. Let me see if I can. I'll switch this device. Maybe it's this specific device. I don't know. Give me a moment to switch this one over if that is what's happening. I'll switch it over to cell. It's video quality. Blurry. Yes, it's blurred. I don't know why that's happening. Anyway, we'll go to the box. Your stream is good. Move on. Well, Duval, I'm talking to folks who are watching on YouTube. You're on TikTok. So for some reason, on some of the, okay, a little static on YouTube. Okay, so YouTube horizontal. All right, everybody saying it's better. Okay, so we'll go straight to the first caller. Blame game. Is it wrong to blame others, such as in this case, someone, folks are blaming Trump for what happened in Minnesota? Is that wrong to do that? To blame a party for what a radical does in regards to, assassination, taking lives, hate crimes in this case, or whatever you want to call it. But Latino, I think that says good evening.
The way I see it, now everything is coming out basically how it looks like. It basically looks like he's, been working with Putin this whole time. If you actually look at some things that he said, like the last time where he said that, Putin should get a good portion of, whatever is going on of that land and get his land back and yada, yada, yada. And then now he's saying he's got to be in the G7. He's been working with Putin this whole time. What would be
the goal of Trump working with Putin?
Well, the first one was basically getting his hotel deal in Russia. It was the first one that he was actually way back when, where he was trying to get a hotel deal with them back then, but it wasn't able to go through because of the simple fact that he was actually elected as president, so he couldn't very well much say, hey, look, I got this deal in Russia, and, he's working with Russia at the same token.
Wait a minute, you believe that Trump is focusing on his own interest with a hotel in Russia as opposed to working on behalf of the country? You believe he's putting his own best interest over the whole nation?
Most definitely. If you actually look at what he said with before he actually got elected, he said that he was wanting to put a hotel over there in Gaza, And so, if you actually see the whole thing, if you actually think about it, it's a lot. It's a whole monopoly game that he's playing. He was good at that as a kid. So he's doing a monopoly, but also with his family too. His family's pulling the strings on the side too with his interest.
Yeah, Latino, I don't get it. This man is almost 80 years of age. He has plenty of money. They allege that he's not even taking a salary. Why would he need a hotel in Russia at this point?
Well, it's for his family. It's called wealth. It's like they're building their wealth for, them and their people and so forth and so on. Because when you're building wealth, you're actually doing it for families and generations of your family. Because that's what wealth is. You're actually building the wealth for your family and generations of your family to come,
Yeah. So this is all about generational wealth for his own family, as opposed to who really should be in the G7 and G8, or G8 if he's trying to make it back to the G8.
Of course. I mean, of course. Of course. I mean, see, with Trump being in office, Putin actually benefits from everything due to the fact that basically, whatever interest Putin has, maybe he has interest in the United States. And we've seen Red Dawn, you know,
Yeah,
and I mean,
I don't know.
but
That's a pretty strong accusation. Before you continue, Carnage Symbiote says, Dumbo Trump ain't shit. He says Trump cannot accept responsibility for his own mistakes, so he blames everything on everybody else. It's bullshit. Um, I wish I've never heard your perspective on this, Latino. He's saying Carnage Symbiote, I pronounce the last name there, Symbiote, is saying that Trump blames everything else on everybody else. I do believe some of that, but trying to bring a nation back into the G8
yeah,
because it's profitable to your family?
yeah. Because if you looked at, remember the past remarks that he said, "Oh yeah, Russia's good for us. We would love to be actually partners with the Russian
Yeah.
people, or Russia in itself, mind you." That actually benefits whatever he does, and because see, the problem is that Trump could not get any more loans in the United States, so he had to go outwards and outsource his loans to actually get loans from foreign countries because, he kept on messing up here in the United States. Because remember, mind you, he had lost multiple businesses,
Yeah,
multiple loans,
but all of that
keep on bankrupting.
But all of that's before President Trump is incredibly wealthy at this point. He don't need a hotel. He has generational wealth for certain, whether it's his cryptocurrency or a host of other things he has going on. He don't need a business in Russia at this point.
Well, remember, mind you, he has to pay all these debts that he has to do because he keeps on getting money from these corporate billionaires and, the elite people. So once he does that, he owes a lot of favor to a lot of people. If you look at it though, remember when he was at his Mar-a-Lago before he got elected, he was saying, "Oh, there's a people with a lot of money, and so you're gonna get money, and you're gonna get money."
I hear what you're saying, but this guy doesn't. He doesn't. And I see in the comments, successful MD says the Orange Man had a $40 to $50 million birthday party. He's talking about the military. But I hear what you're saying, but I just don't. I don't see that being. It could be, but a hotel in Russia. You believe that is the sole reason, or the main reason, or the primary reason behind trying to get Russia back in the G7?
No, I believe.
Give me something else.
That was just to start it off.
What other reason?
For example, they basically being elected, if and or, Russia actually got him elected, Russia got some dirt on him, and so he has to continue on with the facade. Because if he don't, then you know what? He's gonna be unalived by Putin. Because he can't get unalived because he is not.
Whoa! You said wait a minute. You said he's going to be unalived by Putin? You're telling me Vladimir Putin would try to take out a head of state in America?
I'm saying because okay, when you are working with the Russian mob or any type of mob, mind you, if you don't comply with the mob, they will come after you, and you have to do what they say, or if not, you will be unalived.
But you don't think that there's any. But you don't think that there's any way possible ever that the Russian mob can get access to a United States president, do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really? No. You think if Trump you think if Trump pissed off the Russian mob, they have avenues to get to him?
Well, if he pissed off Putin, if you piss off Putin to that point, I'm pretty sure there are multiple ways that he can actually get to him. Well,
Wow.
especially if he's not president. If he's not president.
That is that's an act of war. I mean, that's a serious act of war.
Oh but see, that's the thing is he put himself in that position to put himself in that type of position. This has been his whole life working with the mob.
Yeah.
All the mobs that he's been working with, different mobs, that shit, and it's his own fault. It's of his own doing.
I'm not arguing with any of that, but the Russian mob being able to get access to a United States president, I'm going to say, in my opinion, that sounds a bit far-fetched. I don't think the Russian mob, put it this way, even if they could, like even in America, the mafia has certain people that they would rather not deal with because dealing with them brings too much drama. Like, for instance, the mafia don't like taking out police officers, for instance. You take out a U.S. president, you're going to bring down the weight of the United States on Russia. I don't think they would want to take out a U.S. president.
I mean, if you look at JFK was unalived, so that's not impossible to get to a president,
Yeah, but I think that was a different era. I think at this day and age, everybody knows on the world stage that the United States is significantly more powerful militarily than Russia. I mean, certainly after this 3-year battle with the Ukraine, it's pretty obvious that if Russia currently right now, if Russia and the United States went back and forth, the only thing that could possibly make Russia competitive is that they have nuclear weapons. But on a conventional standpoint, it's not even close. I just can't imagine them wanting to take out a head of state in this country knowing what they would bring down upon them. I'll give you the last word. I do got to move it on, but taking out the president, huh? Do you think Trump is a con man? That's what it sounds like.
Of course. 100%. 100%. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you actually look at everything, look at his whole track record, yeah, of course.
All right, fair enough. You got some kind of alarm going. I got to move it on. You got something really squilling in the background, but I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. I do want to respond to a super chat. Carnage Symbiote says Donald Trump ain't shit. Says he is behind the assassination. Whoa! Really? Said Trump is behind the assassination. Oh, come on now. He probably paid somebody, got his stuff from Halloween store, and his way of getting his revenge on the Democratic Party. Oh, come on. Come on. So he's not just saying Trump's rhetoric led to what happened in Minnesota. He is saying that he's actually behind it. Wow. He's behind the assassination. He probably paid somebody, got his stuff from Halloween store. The guy was wearing a mask, and of course he had a law enforcement outfit on. He says he got it from the Halloween store. This is his way of getting revenge on the Democratic Party. Yikes! That sounds like Nixon times 1,000. I'm not. Somebody else says Timo in the comments. I'm not. Latino Lives Matter. I'm not going to say I believe Trump is that far behind it. But we are asking about playing the blame game. Is it wrong for folks to blame Trump, the rhetoric coming from Trump and MAGA for what happened in Minnesota? Is that wrong to do? Anyone who still supports Trump is a broken toy. Damn. Where all my beloved MAGA? This is a hostile audience towards Trump, huh? They know he loves money. Elon bought him too. Successful MD. Now, Successful MD in the comments, thank you for the super chat, is continuing on what my last caller said, is that these world leaders know that Trump can be purchased. And he's saying that Russia knows that Trump can be bought. And he follows up by saying Elon Musk bought Trump too. I don't know what's going on in Russia to the point where I would go that far. But I do agree 100% that Elon purchased his way in. I don't think it's even up for debate that Elon Musk threw enough money around that they named a 4-letter organization for him to control. Elon certainly bought his way in. I do believe that, but I don't know about Russia. Anyway, looking in the comments, did Elon go to the parade? Probably not. It doesn't look like a lot of people were there. And we're asking that question, by the way, before I go to the next caller. Was that parade, was it worth it? Was that, what does they say, 40 some odd million bucks for that parade? Was it worth it? Something's going on in the background here. Stop that. Was that parade worth it in your opinion? 40 to 45 million, I think they said. All to watch tanks driving down the street. And the attendance, you know, Trump, largest inauguration crowd in history and all of that talk. The attendance for this does not look like it was that great. The attendance for that parade in D.C., I'd say any middle-class American city that hosted a No King's Day parade probably had bigger attendance. Now, some of those parades in L.A. and Philadelphia and Atlanta had tens of thousands of parade protests, had tens of thousands of people. So those No King's Day protests had a lot more people attend than that parade in D.C. So that's where it looks like. But was it worth it? As some folks say, to honor the military. Looking in the comments, Tim, do you have a Trump phone? No, I don't have. What is a Trump phone? Somebody else mentioned that. What the hell is a Trump phone? Going to the box, stick, the ruler. Good evening. I think the riots in Los Angeles have people scared to attend. Scared to attend what? Scared to attend a military parade in D.C.? That doesn't make any sense. Stick, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. So you think the parade was worth it?
You know it wasn't worth it, Tim. You know I'm going to tell you that. That, like you just said, that money could have went towards something more positive, more, worthy of supposedly his name. If you're going to do something right. I guess they still waiting on the $5,000 check that he found with race, fraud, and abuse. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I don't know what happened to the $5,000 check Elon was going to give out because Elon's not even part of the government anymore. But yeah, I'm kind of in that camp that I think the money spent on that parade.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Time out. So you mean to tell me Elon was giving the money?
No, I was under the impression, this is me, this is where I might be completely wrong, but I was under the impression that Elon had indicated that, you know, all the waste, fraud, and abuse they were finding, that they may look into somehow giving people a $5,000 or $6,000 stimulus check. But it would have had to have been approved through President Trump, though. Not Congress, and but hold on. I said President Trump, not Congress, because Congress ain't really doing anything right now. But go ahead.
And you're right about that. They're really not doing anything. They're especially not doing their job. We had somebody with the right ideology, and what I mean by that, I don't mean right and righteous or anything like that. But what I am saying is this: he has put everything in their head to be a democratic problem or fault, and now we've been had that because Nancy Pelosi's husband, certain things have happened because of this.
Is it wrong to blame Trump for those type of hit jobs?
Yes, ma'am. No, it wouldn't be wrong. Just like it's not wrong for saying he's the cause for January 6th. I mean, he just needs to put his big man britches on. Seems like he's got tough skin, and he can take anything. So he might as well just do what some other people did, would just come out and say after he won, this is what we intend on doing.
Wow.
And yes, I am the cause for it. What you gonna do about it? I mean, he can't be convicted of anything, right? He's a sitting president.
Is that? But that's not totally true. I know he supposedly has immunity when he's acting in concert with the job, but he doesn't have total immunity. He's not in a situation where he can't be convicted of anything, is he?
Well, it seems like to me he has total immunity. He's able to, go against people's rights as being we the people. It don't matter whether you're black, white, gay, Mexican. He's coming at you. Trans, it don't matter. He's coming at you. He's trying to get your rights any way he can, especially the women.
Well, but folks are going to wonder. some of my MAGA viewers, the first thing they're gonna ask, what kind of rights are Trump taking away? A lot of folks are suggesting the liberals are just fear mongering. What rights are people losing under Trump?
Okay, how about this one? I'm gonna give you something really recent.
Sure.
When you get on there and you say when they spit, we hit, right?
He did say that.
That's not no. And then on top of that,
But you're not losing right. Wait, stick. That's not a loss of rights.
Let me get to what I mean by that. Then you have these other state representatives / sheriff and all of that saying, if you come out and you protest, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. So at the end of the day, you've lost your First Amendment right, freedom to speak.
No, I gotta push back. The sheriff
allowing you to assemble.
Okay, wait a minute. The sheriff talked tough, but he didn't say you couldn't protest. He started talking about if you're blocking cars, you'll get ran over, and if you throw a brick at a cop, they're going to shoot you graveyard dead and all that.
Is that legal? Is that legal?
My guess is probably yeah. I don't like it.
It's not legal. It's not legal for you to get pew and or shot by police just because you didn't move out the road. That's not legal.
Well, he didn't say that. He said if you are in front of a car, you may get dragged down the street.
Okay. Is that legal?
Is it legal to block the flow of traffic with your body?
I'm saying, is it legal for a person to run over another person because they're lying in the middle of the road? If you don't know the context could be that person, even though it's a rally going on, they might have some medical going on. So you just run that medical person on over, huh? That person that's having a medical
issue. I get what you tried to say, but you know what he's saying as well. He's not talking about running over somebody having a medical episode that's laying in the road. He's talking about somebody standing in front of your car, pushing on your hood while you're coming down the street. I think you know what he's talking about.
Well, that's a difference. But guess what? You can't push on the hood that you ain't touching unless that hood runs up on you, and now you gotta protect yourself from that hood.
Okay.
Because guess what I seen? I seen the police, the ICE agents. I'm sorry, it wasn't the police. I seen the ICE agents, right? They had the people, I guess, in the little van or whatever with the round grill on the front.
Okay.
And they wasn't trying to serve and protect the actual citizens, because the citizens were the one actually out there protesting, correct?
Yeah, but I'm not hearing where you're losing rights at. You said under Trump, people are losing rights.
I'm finna tell you. So they're out there protesting. The ICE agents inside the vehicle press the gas. The people touch the trunk and or jump on the hood. The hood, because guess what? You're trying to run me over. That's against the law. You can't run me over just because I'm protesting, number one. Then number two, if you want to say I'm breaking the law, then you need to have your escort come and arrest me, and then we can move forward, but not run me over.
Are you sure we're not...
Watching the tank run the Chinese person over that stood in front of the tank? Is that what we doing now?
Yeah, but are you sure we're not blaming what might be bad policing on President Trump? Trump is not telling these folks to do this. They're doing it on their own.
Listen, when you get up there and you say what you say as being Trump, you have the police that's looking around, and then he sees an Australian journalist with her back to him, and he busts on her leg with a doggone rubber bullet. That's because of Trump. That's the rhetoric. You can do that and don't worry about it. I got you. That's Trump.
Well, there's no confirmation of that. I mean, I saw what you're talking about, but there's no confirmation.
So you seen the part where he said, remember when he was running, he said he wished he could get the police could get him in a room. All they need is 30 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
This is your president, homie.
This is
like,
our.
Be real about this.
This is our president. Our president. This is our president. I didn't vote for him either. I didn't vote for him either.
So at the end of the day, he's just like an asterisk in the presidency book. He's an asterisk. He don't get no respect. He's soft as hell. He didn't serve. I did. Shit, make me president.
So you're putting him down there with Rodney Dangerfield. He gets no respect at all.
No, he don't need no respect. Rodney Dangerfield deserves way more respect. He put more smiles on people's faces than anybody in here. Yeah, he deserves way more respect. But God doggone Trump, every time you turn around, man, he's a walking, talking plague. That's all he is. Whether he plaguing on other countries, plaguing on his own country, I mean, he's a plague, bro. Like, name a business that he's had more than maybe 20 years other than his own name.
I mean, I don't know how long he's had his businesses, but he's made a lot of money.
No. I'm gonna say it again. So okay, you got Nike, right?
Okay.
Now that may not be somebody's last name, but it's a well-known business, right?
Right.
So let's just say Nike is a family, right?
Okay.
Their business is shoes. Their business now is shirts and apparel. You know, Nike makes bats. Nike is a good name. Trump is a good name only because he's popular in the sense of people know who he is. Because everything is Trump this and Trump that and Trump. He can sell his name, but he can't sell beef. He can't teach anybody at a university. His university is not around.
What about his golf courses? What about his golf courses?
Okay, the golf courses, I mean, he came up on a good piece of land. He made one good decision.
What about his hotels? What about his hotels?
Well, you can't speak on the hotel in New York because that's no longer Trump Tower. So
He has some good businesses. All his businesses weren't bad. I think if Trump hadn't ran for president, he would have a lot of good businesses still.
I'm gonna say it again, Tim. Those right there are more things that he can keep and hold and get loans on. Right? That's wealth. I'll give it to him. But when I'm asking you about businesses, for instance, how do you bankrupt a casino? That's free money. That's free money.
How you know he didn't bankrupt it on purpose to make a ton of money out of it?
Again, give me a business that's more than 10 years. You can't. Most of his business, other than his hotel, and he lost the one in Vegas as well too.
But what if the goal wasn't to stay in business long term? What if the goal was to flip businesses? Just, grow a business, make it successful, and sell it. Just like flipping properties. He may not wanted to own one business for 20 years.
So you mean to tell me if your business basically prints the money, because you own a casino, people come to your casino, you don't charge them to come in, you don't charge them to spend their money, they just automatically just give it to you. You might have, on an average day, 5 to 10 winners, at best. And I ain't talking about 100 here and 200 there. I'm talking about $100,000 or $200,000 at best. But you raking in one day, $2 to $5 million, depending on the area.
I'm under the impression that even though the casino went bankrupt, Trump made money off of that. He didn't lose money in that deal himself.
I don't know how that could be if it's bankrupt. So it is what it is. They play the I don't pay taxes game and all that stuff. So you could be right, Tim.
Yeah.
Because he don't pay taxes, he don't do stuff that he's actually supposed to do. So he plays the game the way he plays the game. But at the end of the day, that still doesn't make him the person that MAGA tries to make him to be, which is a good businessman. Because I'm not going to go into business just to later on say, well, I lost it all, but I made money off of it. Well, what about all the other people that work for you? Where do they stand?
I gotta say, if your wealth is steadily increasing, you're a good businessman. Whatever you're doing, if your bank account is continuing to grow like Trump's was, you're a good businessman. So I gotta disagree with you on that, but I gotta move it on, Stick. We'll see what happens, but I do gotta move. Go ahead, give you the last word.
Okay, yeah. One last thing, Tim. So when it comes down to the military, they've got all of these memes of showing, China and North Korea and all of these other ones, even Russia, how in tune and in step they are.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to understand that if there was any African American soul brothers out there, ain't no way in hell they was off step.
Yeah, that looks bad.
To be off step.
I saw that. That looks bad.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the any other race that was out there, they not off step because they got somebody that keeps them in step. They did that shit on purpose. That was a disrespect to Trump. He needs to see that and understand we don't want a king. We don't need a king. It never will. So he need to get, what needs to happen to him? Controversial. I'm going to be controversial. He needs a Caesar to happen to his ass. He needs somebody to say, Ante Brutes, all in his back. That's what he needs. He needs to be Caesared.
All right, Stick. That sounds a bit like 8647. I gotta move it on, but thanks for coming through.
I hope it's small hands, Marco Rubio, right in the back.
God. All right, Stick. Damn. All right, now we don't want to call for any violence, if you know what I mean. But damn, Caesared all in the back, huh? Looking in the comments, Trump filed bankruptcy and didn't pay taxes for 20 years. Isn't that kind of what the tax? Letitia James. What's her name? Was that Letitia James in New York that went after him and won a ton of money? Yeah, I think that was her name. Anyway, looking in the comments, I think letting people know we're not going to put up with this crap, including protecting ourselves, is necessary. The American people are fed up. American people are always fed up. They're fed up with this time, and I'd like to know that, though. If you don't think Trump is a good president, you're crazy. And even if you are right, Harris and Tampon Tim would have been the end of the country. I'd like to know what would Harris and quote-unquote Tampon Tim had have done to be the end of the country. Look, I'm not here to say Kamala Harris would have been a bad president or would have been a good president, but I actually do believe that under Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, we would have been less divided than we are right now. Because Kamala Harris would not have been on TV attacking people so much. So when you say the end of the country, I'll be curious to know what would they have done to lead to the end of the country? Let me know what you think, because if you look at the metrics under Trump, if I can get the word out, the metrics under Trump, it's not like you look at Biden, he's way down here, and you look at Trump and things are way up here. The economy hasn't improved significantly from Biden to Trump. Obviously, none of the wars have ended. In fact, Iran and Israel is a new one that started. So if you're saying that Kamala and Kamala and Tim Walz would have destroyed the country, give me how they would have done it. In what way? What way, shape, or form? 13 bankruptcy companies insanely good, says Polak Talks. I love it. I kind of agree with that, though. You got 500 companies and 13 bankruptcies. Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, if your bank account is growing, I don't give a damn about the bankruptcies, failed companies, or whatever. If your bank account is continuing to grow, you're a good businessman. Listen, it's a shell game. Corporations don't often give a damn about the employees. So if they're laying you or me off, but they're getting a bonus, they're getting all kind of awards and golden parachutes, it's good business. It's not about how well the employees or the business does. It's about how well the businessman does. And Trump has continued seeing his wealth climb. So under the standards of American capitalism, I don't see how he's not a good businessman. Okay, the casino went bankrupt. But what happened to his pay that year? His company that sold steaks went bankrupt or belly up. But what was his bank account during that year? As long as he's still making money, I don't see it. Looking in the comments, Bernie Madoff was Bernie Madoff was committing crimes. Big difference. Bernie Madoff was telling, I get where you're trying to tie it to, but I don't put Trump in the category with Bernie Madoff. I mean, Bernie Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme. Trump wasn't doing that. Trump would have been more like a bad sales guy. Selling you vacuum cleaners, telling you that the capabilities of the vacuum cleaner or whatever product he was selling you was significantly better than it actually is. Whereas Bernie Madoff was just taking money from person A, giving a percentage of it to person B, and needing person C to keep the whole thing going. It wasn't based on anything else other than how many more suckers can I get to keep it going. So I don't think Trump and Bernie Madoff are in the same category with that. Pollock Talks, thank you for the support, said they would have brought in. Here's how Kamala Harris, he's going to suggest, how Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim as he call it, would have destroyed the country. He says they would have brought in so many illegals that they would have permanently changed the country's demographics and kept Democrats in office forever. There's a possibility of that. I mean, I can't rule it out, but I didn't hear them talking about they wanted to give a bunch of illegal immigrants voting rights. But your statement is not lost because Biden did let a whole lot of people in the country under the asylum claim. The folks coming in this country under Biden seeking asylum really ballooned. And Pollock Talks, even though he's probably, many people on the right consider folks seeking asylum as illegal immigrants. They're not. But you're letting them in. They're not vetted. They probably don't have a legitimate claim to seek asylum, but under Biden, they're more likely to stay. And he is right in suggesting eventually they're going to get the right to vote. So I don't agree quite with the wording of it, but I do agree with the premise is that under the Democratic Party, you were going to have far more people coming in across the southern border that would eventually turn into voters. That could be a generation or so down the line, but eventually those people would turn into voters, not to mention their offspring and their family tree. That's what he's saying. I don't totally disagree with that. I don't totally disagree with it. But if the goal was to get them kind of people out only, I think Trump would not be taking as much flag, but Trump is going at the people that are here illegally and every damn thing. Let me go back to the box. A lot of immigrants vote red. Yeah, Cubans, Venezuelans, but the vast majority of people coming across the southern border don't vote red. They don't vote red. Most of the folks coming across the southern border do vote blue. Going back to the box, Gangsta Grandma, good evening, welcome to the program.
Talk about them voting red and stuff.
What?
Voting blue, they don't vote. Stop with the BS.
No, wait a minute. That ain't what you didn't hear what he said. He's saying that immigrants, once they become legalized, they tend to vote. Is that not true?
No, it's mostly other idiots voting against their own damn interest. You know what I mean?
I don't agree with that. I think most immigrants that come across...
Venezuelans and the Cubans think they white, so they will vote for that dipshit up there that's in office right now. So shut your ass up. You're not even educated even talking about
Hold on.
As it is today anyway.
You didn't hear what I said. First of all, I said across the southern border. Cubans don't come across...
You don't think Cubans can't go across the border? You don't think they can?
Why would they?
That's how they get here.
No, they don't. They come on a raft into
Yes,
Florida.
they do. A lot of them do come across the southern border. Yes, they do.
Okay.
The Haitians does too. All of the asses sometimes come to the southern border. Now, they might fly their asses in on the visa and stuff and then overstay, yeah. But yeah, a lot of them do cross the southern border and would.
Okay, well, let me
And
point...
they still vote against their own damn fucking interests and would.
I'll push back by saying out of all of the different...
You always push it back, you're fluffing. You got his...
We gotta... Wait, hold on, gangsta. We gotta have a conversation. You can be critical, I don't mind that. We gotta have a conversation. I'm simply saying...
Why you don't push back on the truth, though? What kind of truth?
You're not letting me get a word in. You're just...
Yes.
What I'm saying is... The overwhelming majority of folks that come in this country across the southern border, when they are legalized, they vote blue. You're telling me that's not true?
It's not. And do you got sources? Do you do you, Fluffy?
Yeah.
With his protein all over your lips. No, you do not. You do not. Because you do not have no sources. Because actually, the ones that really would vote for the blue is the Mexicans. They will vote blue.
Okay.
It's shown anything that 65% to 67% will vote blue.
Okay,
yes,
let's go with what you just said, the Mexicans. What group represents...
The Mexicans are coming through the border, Pookie.
What?
Right?
What?
It's the Cubans. It's the Venezuelans. What the fuck else?
What?
Don't just blame it on my poor little Mexicans.
What group represents the largest amount of immigrants in this country from the southern border?
Hell, all of them do.
Now you're playing. You know who the hell it is. What from which country?
Yeah, don't you cuss at me, Pookie. I'm on the good side of history. Your ass is always fluffing on the bad side.
I'm just trying to get you to answer the question. From which country from the southern border do most immigrants come?
I mean, it's really, honest to God, it's really mixed, though.
No, it's not.
Really mixed. Because you know what, on some real shit, not all the Mexicans want to come here.
Have you seen what's going? Have you seen what's going on in California?
No shit, Sherlock. I'm in the middle of the shit. And what?
How many Venezuelan or Guatemalan or Nicaraguan flags? You see Mexican flags. That's what's being flown. Mexican flags.
There's all other kinds of fucking flags. See, your fat ass needs to go down there, Pookie and Ray, and look at all the damn flags. Honduras flag is flying. The Venezuelan flag is flying. The Cuban flag is flying. The United States flag is flying. And what? And the Mexicans are flying. And what?
You don't want to admit the largest
I'm
group.
not, why am I admit I'm saying?
No, you're not. You're
All
trying.
of them are coming through. All of them.
I asked you a clear question. Which group represents the largest amount of immigrants coming across the southern border? Your response was all of them. You won't answer the actual question.
All of them do.
No, it's not.
I don't know the precise. I can't give the figures. But all of them be coming through. Shit, well, what the fuck, man? I'm not lying. All of them coming through. Look, the shit, there's Cubans, Venezuelans, all Haitians are even coming through. Even Chinese people coming through the damn Mexican border. It's not just Mexicans. You slow little imbecile of a cockroach. You bent over backwards and everything for the white team man. And look what the white team man just did this weekend. Yeah, let's go there. Your little maggot ass friends did all this shit in Minnesota and shit. And then you always say, might be 11 maggot. Yeah, I tell you, they're fucking full of hate.
Okay.
Little monster asses.
I'm going to.
Send their asses to Venezuela.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. Out of the immigrants that come across the southern border.
Because you ain't strong enough to go against me. I'll say this again. Well, like what? Why don't you have this damn energy with the maggots?
And I see in the comments.
You come hard. You try to come so hard with me. You try your damnedest to come so hard with me. But yet, you get soft asses like your dang-a-lang go soft. Yes. Well, let me push back a little bit to the maggots. But you want to come straight hard with me. Well, you try to at least.
You're telling me I come hard with you. Do you realize how you're coming with me right now? Do you realize that?
I come hard with you. Girly pop. Let's go, girly pop.
I don't get any MAGA folks on the show that talk to me the way you do, but yet you're telling me I come hard with you.
Because they're softies. I wish a bitch would come hard for me. I bet you won't let me on with the little maggot comes on, because you know I'll have them to hell and back, and I'll cut that little dangling out and shove up their own ass, girly pop. You know I will. I will send them back to where the fuck they came from, the pits of hell. But see, you are too soft. That's why they stopped with you, because you let them spear the little all their little stuff. You do. You let them spear all the hate and stuff. You don't push back. 2 of them are in the triple K. You don't push it back. You don't.
Wait. Who the hell are you suggesting that's in the triple K?
Gen X. He's a proud boy. Yup. To the left bit, yup. And then you go to a maggot. What's his name? I forget his name. The little mega wannabe little white boy. What's his name?
I don't know.
I don't know. Mega intelligent some shit. And then you have your $15 hour wash boy. I voted for Trump because he's going to give us more money because the illegal immigrants, they're taking our jobs. And I'm just making $15 an hour. Boy, please.
What is wrong with voting for Trump if you believe immigrants are taking jobs? Is that not a legitimate reason to vote for Trump?
Show me where they're taking jobs. Because no white team man is going to be out in the fucking fields. No white team man is going to be... I promise you ain't going to be in the construction site because a lot of them are Mexicans. I passed one today, Mexican.
I want you
Nobody's
to.
taking their job.
I want to get your opinion on this comment. This is a comment aimed at you in the comment section. North Carolina cowgirl says she wouldn't make it 10 minutes in the South.
Bitch, I'm from the South. What you talking about? I'm from 9th Ward, bitch, and what? I'm from the straight hood, and what? Shit, Mega reacts, that's it. He's trouble. She won't make it in. It's like, get the fuck out. And I can tell that was a white woman too. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, well,
No, I'm not white. They really think that I won't make No.
Well,
He's so funny.
they're saying if you ever went down to the South, that might be your demise. Polar Tongue says she.
God, I'm so shaky with a white man telling me that. I'm so shaky. Get the fuck. I'm grown up in the hood.
Okay.
You know what? I'm from the hood. They don't scare me. See, this is what these motherfuckers think. Because they white tea, they're gonna scare us. We're gonna do something. We're mega. We're gonna do this. Get the fuck out of here.
And Polar says you proved this point with the more flags. So you're saying that in California there are all sorts of flags being flown.
They are all kinds of flags. What are you talking about? They're repping everything. No, I'm not white. When did Afro-Latina become white, you dipshit? Golly. I mean, come on, tell me. If you see my mother, my father, my mother's darker than you.
But do you hear that? But do you? You're based on your picture. Do you hear that often?
Give a dog? Do you think I give a damn? I didn't know what nuts I came from. Half the motherfuckers in the white tea family don't even know who their mom and daddy is because they be fucking on their cousins and stuff. What the fuck?
What you
the incest motherfuckers. They are the biggest incest. They be messing on their daddy, their poppy. They be messing on their granddaddy. They be messing on their cousins. They be getting their sisters pregnant. What the fuck? That's an incest thing, you know? So don't come from my black ass tell me I'm fucking white.
You're telling me you said white people be getting their sisters pregnant?
The down south motherfuckers that try to threaten me, they be incesting motherfuckers. Tell me they ain't. They be incesting.
No.
They just put them down there. Ooh, my cousin looks good. That's my third cousin. It's okay to do that. Shit, get the fuck out of here. And they coming for me to tell me I'm white. So I know what my nutsack is. I know who my daddy is. And then he sure ain't he's my dad. He ain't my cousin, my nana, nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Half the maggots are incest. That's why they stupid. That's why they stupid. They're interbred motherfuckers. That's why they stupid. Well, yeah, I voted for him. I make $15 now. Yep, that's an interbred motherfucker.
I think you're being. How do you respond to people that say you're being insulting?
I'm insulting?
Yeah.
Well, damn. Hallelujah. You want a cookie? You guys can't take the shit back. You motherfuckers are hateful. You motherfuckers are inbred. You motherfuckers are special. And what?
Oh my God.
And what?
You need to stop this.
I know what my family is.
You need to stop this suggesting that MAGA and whites down south are all this incest. What are you basing that on?
That's it. Dude, have you been to college lately? Have you been to school lately? That is their history. They be fudging, they be fudging their mama, their pappy, their uncle, their brother. It is the truth. They don't like the truth. I promise you, you can walk down the street, that's my cousin, and she was really good today. I'm like, what? Have you seen? Yes. They all be looking the same. I'm trying to tell your ass. They are uncooked meat down there. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole pulling my doggy wee-wee because I don't know what the fuck they be doing. And then the kids be coming out fucking special as hell, and then they be doing it all.
They all be. You said they all be looking the same. Oh my God.
They be looking the same. Like they tell us all black men be looking the same.
Oh my God.
I can tell. And I can be drop your pants. They all look the damn same. But not a black man though. Because you know why? They be taking all the G's the same, nasty, interbred mofos. Interbred. That's why they special. That's why when Donald Trump got on national TV and said, I like the uneducated. Yep, but he's talking about all the underbred. Yep. Talk what you know. Because look, one of them.
I ain't never heard any of this.
Shot up somebody. No, look at it. One protester, one guy went through the damn thing in California and hurt somebody, right? That was an interbred mofo. He was mad. He was a maggot. Then the other one in Minnesota, rest in peace to the two people that got unalived. He was the motherfucker. He was. He was an underbred mofo. Oh, I'm right with Jesus. I'm such a Christian nationalist, and shot up some two innocent people. That's the hate.
And I see Carnage Symbiote says Tim can't get no juice, no crackers from Instagram. I don't know. I think what you're suggesting sounds kind of wild. I don't think they're all. You said somebody screwing their own mom.
All the ones that you have on your life are special kind of idiots. Okay, all of them. Two of them are the Triple K. One is the two. What is it called? What is that called? The Proud Boys. And he's proud. I'm a Proud Boy. Like your fat ass needs to go to the gym instead of worrying about a Proud Boy. See, you don't let me have their asses up. And you don't push back. See, if you have me, I told you, me and you could be a good team. I'll shut my mouth until they stop talking. And then I'll roast these sorry asses and send them back to the hell like the pits of hell like they should be.
Oh my God. Oh, you beat my guest up. Real quick in the comments, you got a quick.
Yeah, I'll beat your guest. See, I'm not like you. I'm not fluffy. I would tell them the damn truth about the ugly, unseasoned cooked chicken asses that probably smell like vajayjay. They can't even get no vajayjay. Half the ass. I thought they'd be going to their cousins, their aunties, their mamas, and every damn thing else in a bread little mofo.
You know you.
I can give that.
I say this every time. You sound like you have a deep-seated hatred for white people.
I do not like the maggots. Now, I'll tell you. Now, there are some good white tea people. I'm not telling you about them. The good ones that went out and vote and protested and stuff. I'm not talking about their asses. I'm talking about a slow definition of the maggots that voted for the hate, voted for the king, voted for taking food stamps away from the elderly and the fucking kids, voted for Medicaid taken away, voted for all the hate and stuff, voted for that shit, and led this Triple K man in office. Yeah, I hate them.
I got one question. Before I'm moving on from you, somebody wants me to ask you a question, and that is, Carnage Symbiote says, Tim asked Gangsta Grandma, does she think Trump is behind the assassination, and ask her if Russia is in the cahoots with Dumbo Trump, so he doesn't like Trump. Do you think what happened in Minnesota, you think Trump has something to do with that?
Yes. All the hatred. Let me tell you something. If your president comes up on national TV and spewing hate all the fucking time, right? All the time, spewing hate. Yeah, you're gonna have some knuckleheads, some interbred mofos. You know what I mean? The interbred, the ones that don't know who their family member is and have sex with them, interbred motherfuckers, yeah, have them come up and do some fuck shit, okay? Like they did in Minnesota and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that is some shit. You spill it, he does it. And then Russia, Trump is the whole B word to Russia. He has his protein all over his mouth. That's his whole his B-boy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, hello, daddy, Russian, Putin, I'm your bitch.
He has his.
I got your protein all over.
Protein all over his mouth. I don't even want to know what the protein consists of.
Yeah, all over his mouth, like dripping protein. That is the Triple K right there. He love him some Putin. Oh, I want to be just like him. And you seen what happened this weekend. Oh, Trump is big mad. Oh, Pookie is big mad. Oh my God, 10,000 people came. 10,000 people came to hear the click of a damn what is that?
From what I do gotta move it on, but from what I hear, 10,000 is small because there was 6,000 some odd soldiers in the actual parade. So only 10 grand? Yeah, that's very low.
The people alone. But God, let me say this one last thing. Let me tell you something. He is so big mad right now. He said, oh, now we're going to go ice. We're going to go straight ice on you guys and all the blue. Because you know why? We showed the fuck up. And we had over 5 million people on the streets this weekend. And what his little bash was, you hear the clink, 10,000. And those soldiers didn't even do shit right. You know why? Because they don't like his ass. But they can't say nothing. So I ain't mad at the soldiers. You know what I'm saying? The little Triple K, that's who I'm pissed off at. The little maggot that's still on his little 2 centimeter Peter Weeder. I can't stand the asses.
All right,
You know what I'm
gangster
saying?
grandma. Yes, I
You have a
do.
good one. I got to go roll up anyway. Goodbye.
All right. Real quick in regards to the parade, and I see in the comments, Jocelyn said this lady is the definition of brain rot. Wow, that's kind of awful. This is why the election needs an IQ test. I don't support that. Jocelyn, I don't support an IQ test because it won't be administered fairly. I'm pretty sure it won't. That's just opening up another avenue for voter suppression. And we do have a history of doing exactly that. Voter, what did it call it? They used to call it voter, I forget what it was called. It was a voter test, but there was a term for it. Real quick in the comments, because she mentioned the parade yesterday and the fact that there were millions of people out in the No King's Day protest, but only a handful of people showed up at the parade. President Trump took to social media and made fun of the No King's Day protest. Here is the actual quote of what he posted on Truth Social. He said, "A huge thank you to all the No Kings protesters yesterday. I was very concerned a king was trying to take my place. But thanks to your tireless efforts, I am still your president. Great job." That came from Trump himself. So understand he did mock the No King's Day protest. NG says the highest amount of incest is in the Muslim northern, wait a minute, the highest amount of incest is in the Muslim northern North Africa. Does that make them disgusting or distinguishing maggots too? I don't get what you're saying, but that's it. You're talking about something happening in a different country though. So I can't speak on that. But you're saying the highest amount of incest takes place in North Africa, the Muslim portion of North Africa. So would that be like Egypt and Libya and those countries over there? I don't know what relevance that has in America, but fair enough. Somebody said no facts given. Watch The Simpsons. They knew before you. 10 million across the country compared it to a parade in one city is a reach at validation. Well, and that's a fair point. I mean, you got, dozens of cities. You can't compare the numbers of collectively dozens of cities just to what was done in D.C. But I'll tell you this, you don't need to. You don't need to compare all the cities to the numbers of Washington, D.C. Any one of those cities like Atlanta, L.A., New York, Chicago, Philly, each one of those cities had more people show up than they did at that DC parade. You don't need to put them all together and come up with 5 million. I got like we just stated, only 6,000 some odd soldiers participated, and only about 10,000 people showed up. So you're talking less than 20,000 people, even when you're accounting for the talent that's in the parade. Way more than that. I mean, that would probably be equivalent to one of the No King's Day protests in secondary cities, like maybe Cincinnati or Columbus, Ohio. But the big cities, Detroit, New York, and way more people showed up. In each individual city, way more people showed up. So you don't need to compare them all. Just pick one. Why do they bundle the gays with the trans? Well, because the heterosexuals don't like anybody that's not heterosexual. I mean, it's just like, why do they call, I guess one group is white, everybody else is minority. No matter what you are, you're a minority. Well, I mean, there's a reason why they're bundled all together. And it's not like they're ordering insurance from Progressive where you get more when you bundle. Carnage Symbionte says, Tim, you're still buffing on YouTube, switch to Wi-Fi. I'll give it a shot. I don't know why this particular, it's got to be the device, because only one device is having that problem. I'm not having that problem on any of my other devices. So maybe something's in the background is downloading or something causing it. Let me go back to the box. So nobody's saying there's an issue on TikTok, Instagram, or even YouTube horizontal. No King's Day was anti-hate. Just because y'all have your fists clenched together when other people are happy. Oh. Okay, so we'll see if that helps out with the streaming platform. But we'll continue on. Dencal, good evening. I saw that handsome something was in there. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the show. Is it wrong to blame what happened in Minnesota on Trump?
that's kind of difficult question. To, like, not I can't blame it on him, but I can blame it on the constant rhetoric and the constant degradation of a certain party. They every day come out and call them left-wing lunatics, and like that stuff has an effect over time. You keep calling people names, and now he's getting out there saying he's going to send these ICE units to Democrat cities. Like, yes, that's going to affect people's psyche over time. Just like it's people in here now saying, you know, gangster grandma, that's the left. Like, that's no. The way she articulates herself may not be comfortable to people, but what she's saying most of the time is correct. But they want to put the way she talks on the left. Like, I don't even, you know, but they have no criticism for the way Trump talks every single day.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the way she talks is something we can discuss, but the points she's making, even if you soften them up, they would be points in favor of liberals. So that's why they're saying that's how the left. I mean, the left don't all because I don't talk like her. Just like a lot of folks on the right do not talk like Trump. But you do make a good point: is that Trump can get out there and say all kinds of awful shit about people and they're okay with it. But then when Gangsta Grandma does it, oh, you know, I do get that part.
Right. And I asked the person in the chat, I asked them the question. So does that mean that guy down there in Minnesota that perpetrated those heinous acts, can we call him right? Can we say that's the right? Obviously, they wouldn't like that comparison, right?
They think
even though
MAGA is still suggesting that killer was a Democrat.
Man, they could say that until they blew in the damn face. They got all of the proof from that list of people, all of the stuff talking about AB clinics, and all of those people on that list were Democrat. So how in the hell would a liberal be, trying to assassinate other liberals? That don't make sense. Just like they tried to say that about both the people who tried to attack Trump. They were liberals. There was nothing in their past basically to say that they were card-carrying members and they was political.
Yeah, I don't know what the political affiliation of the people who tried to take Trump out, but the difference with Trump as opposed to these politicians in Minnesota is there are a lot of people that don't like Trump. I mean, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, they're not liberals, and I'm sure they don't like him either. I mean, there are plenty of Muslim groups. There's folks in the LGBTQ community. I mean, there are probably Ukrainians. I mean, there's so many people that don't like Trump that, yeah, he's one of those kind of guys if something happened to him, it could literally be anybody. I mean, he has a lot of enemies out there.
Right, but guess what? In this time that he has control over all branches of government, the judiciary and everything, have you heard his people in the DOJ one time say that they were opening an investigation to find out what the hell? We had to listen to Netanyahu say that both of the times the people did it, it had something to do with Iran.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, have you ever seen an assassination attempt on the president of the United States, and that guy becomes the president? Nobody's investigating. Nobody's trying to find out what happened. No.
Why do you think that is? That's a good point. Why do you think that is?
I have no idea, but I know it ain't good.
Well, I will tell you this. Blaming the liberals is capital for president. If you do an investigation, and the investigation, as you say, turns out that it's Iranians or Muslims or something like that, it kind of goes against him. He needed to be considered as the Democrats did it. So you got enough MAGA and Republicans in the country that already believe his assassination attempts on Trump came from the liberals. So if you already got what you want, why go and investigate it?
Right, but the reverse idea to that is if it was liberals and we got Pam Bondi, we got all of these people that would go to the mat for Trump. Why are they not trying to find out? Why do they not want to know?
Well, it's possible, they may already know and don't like the answer to deliver to the people. Just like with the Epstein list, you heard what Elon said about the Epstein list. But Eli P in the comments says liberals are united in their hate for whites. What do you think would lead somebody to say that?
I will ignore that because I'm not going to add fuel to whatever person that has with liberal people. Like I have no idea what we said in this conversation that has introduced hate into the conversation. We're asking a very common question. If all of this stuff has been done by liberals, where is the proof?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard everything from Obama wiretapped his office to liberals stole the election to, yeah, I mean, everything. Trump could get a speeding ticket and the cop was liberal. I mean, that's just, it works for him to blame the liberals. So, I mean, all of his court cases, they were liberals. All of the judges that ruled against him, they're liberals or rhinos. I mean, anything bad happens to him, he's going to blame the Liberal Party because it is working.
But not do anything. But the moment somebody does something that disagrees with Trump, you got Pam Bondi, you got them open an investigation into my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like my cousin said something on social media. Now they opening up an investigation. But this stuff we see play out on the national level, they crickets. Like he spent years saying that the election was stolen, that he had this information, and all of his people saying, yeah, he's gonna reveal it as soon as he gets back in. He's gonna reveal it. Now they like, well, I don't, hopefully one day he'll reveal it. Why would you, if you got the information to prove you correct, why would you not reveal it? That don't even make sense.
Well, he doesn't have to reveal it because, I mean, the people are not going to ask him. I mean, like I've said on the show plenty of times before, if Trump says it, it is. Why do you want to go out and deliver proof when nobody's asking for that? If Trump steps up today and says Obama is cheating and trying to thwart his campaign right now in 2025, even though Obama's not even in the spotlight, you think MAGA's going to question that?
I mean, MAGA's not going to question anything, but there's more in this people in this country than MAGA. Like, we deserve too. Like, I look, you spent years trying to convince me of this. Now you got power. I want to know. Show me. All I know is what I've seen on the opposite. I've seen the people in your administration who tried to assist you in stealing the election. So at least you would want to counter that. We seen the lady who gave the information down there in Georgia. She gave up the voting, the computer.
Some of the fake electors. You're talking about the fake electors.
Ninjas.
No.
Yeah, the cyber ninjas. Then you had the commission they set up that disbanded in about 2 weeks. Like, I just would like to see some proof. If I got to sit here and keep having conversations with these people who are on the other side, on the MAGA side, swearing up and down is somehow me. I'm the hateful person. I'm the one going out and protesting against what we see as somebody who's trying to become a king is somehow being hateful towards the army.
Good luck with that. Good luck with getting that proof. Real quick in the comments, Cardinals Symbiote says Dumbo Trump ain't shit. But he also says ain't shit. Also, to answer your question, the person who made a comment about The Simpsons isn't gangsta grandma. It's a crazy old lady with the cats. The Simpsons tell the truth. Didn't The Simpsons predict an episode where Trump was going to be dead or something like that? I think it was on one of The Simpsons or something like that. They predicted he was going to be president. But Eli P. also in the comments, Dan Cal says, everyone is allowed to have a homeland except white people. I'm going to leave that to you to answer that.
They got Europe.
Yeah. Everybody is allowed to have a homeland except white people.
That's where they came from, right? That's where they came from. That's their homeland. How you gonna go to somebody else's shit and just be like, put them out and call it your homeland?
Yeah, everybody is allowed to have a homeland except whites. Has he ever been to Norway, Sweden, Finland? I mean, all of that shit is bright white up there.
Right, he can go up there to the Caucasus Mountains where they came out.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Russia doesn't have a lot of diversity either.
Yeah, you can go over there and set up shop over there. They got expensive space.
Yeah, I think as opposed to saying that whites are not allowed to have a homeland, I think you just want America to be a more white country because there are plenty of countries around the planet that are overwhelmingly white. I mean, most of